I don't know if the law of attraction is real or not, but there are some things that I do know about life. The law of attraction, the way that it's sold in books and movies and documentaries and shit, I don't know that it's bullshit, but I don't know that it's not. But I'm not trying to depend on that when it comes to like accomplishing my goals. For example, The Secret will have you believing that you can just think about some shit and shit just happens. Like when I saw the movie, like that really happened, man. This little boy was like drawing pictures of bicycles and shit, and then like some old man came and gave him a bicycle for free, you know, out of nowhere. He ain't had to do shit but draw a bicycle. I don't think that's reality. Ain't no old man gonna give you no gifts without you having to form sexual favors. Gonna have to do something probably. You know, that book, The Secret, when Shorty wrote The Secret, she said she read another book that really inspired her and led her down that path. You know, the book she was talking about was called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. I read that book mad times when I was younger, right? But one thing that old Wally D said mad times in the book, he said, do all that can be done each day. It's weird. He said it like no less than 50 times in that book. And every time he wrote it, it was in all caps. And sometimes that would be the only paragraph. Do all that can be done each day. But then Shorty come and make The Secret, and she just said, oh, you could just think about it, man. Draw a bicycle, man. Somebody show up and give it to you. That's how it works, baby. It's dope. Yeah, y'all should all do this. I don't understand why everybody don't do it. You know? But she left out the most important part, like do all that can be done each day. For me, I don't know that the law of attraction is bullshit or not. However, it might have been 2018, 2017. I had my videographer. His name was Johnny Ty at the time, right? I was like, yo, Johnny, here's what I need you to do. Take this photo of me, and I want you to Photoshop me with the ClickFunnels Award for doing $10 million with a funnel, right? Because ClickFunnels gives you an award with that. Photoshop me with that award and Photoshop me with the YouTube plaque for 1 million subscribers. And he came back with something that looked like this, right? This is part of it, you know what I'm saying? He Photoshopped this shit for me, you know? And I printed this shit out. I had it like above my desk, like every day, you know, for mad long. And yo, fun fact, I got both those awards now. I got the YouTube plaque right here, you know what I'm saying? I can, and I got the other award, it's in the other room. I can like really go take that picture now. You know what I'm saying? I got both those things. However, it was a lot of work. It was definitely a lot of work. The Secret was saying I could just draw the shit and just imagine it and it'll show up, you know, like I'm magic or like I'm a fucking X-Man or some shit. That's not how it worked. What happened was I really focused on the part in The Science of Getting Rich where Wally D said, do all that can be done each day. And when you think about that shit, man, do all that can be done each day. Have any of y'all ever done all that can be done any day? Like doing all that can be done is not like working hard. It's like working at capacity, like all you can do. So that means you're not fucking bullshitting on video games. That means you're not out fucking enjoying life or whatever fucking fruity shit y'all be saying. You're not out here getting high. You're not doing anything that's not in congruence with you accomplishing your goal. That's all that can be done. And it's not sometimes, it's not most days, it's not even a lot. It's every day. Do all that can be done each day. And if you do that, man, if anybody who really did that, I don't really see how they can fail at their goal. I mean, as long as their goal is within the realms of like reality, right? You know, no matter how much I do, I can't fly. Yeah, we know dummies, right? You know, shut the fuck up. You know, we're talking about like, you know, real shit that people can do, you fucking retard. Do all that can be done each day. Like, yo, if it's within the realms of reality, you're not trying to break the laws of physics, man, yo, man, you will really accomplish your goals, but almost nobody does all that can be done any day, and they definitely don't do it each day, and they don't do it for a significant amount of time. So whether the law of attraction is real, shit will fucking start showing up, I don't know, right? But if you do all that can be done each day, you will definitely have a higher likelihood of accomplishing your goal. In fact, I don't think you can fail if you did all that can be done each day. Think about things that you tried to accomplish in life and you failed, right? Were you really going all out? I mean, like all out. Were you really doing all that can be done every day? Or were you slacking off, enjoying life, bullshit, doing other shit? You know, I already know the answer. Because if you were going all out, you would have got that shit. But the thing is, people like pussyfoot towards their goals. They say, oh, I deserve to take the day off, or I need to chill, or I just want to live life, or I just want to do this, or I just want to do that. All right, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But now you're adding variables to the equation, you know what I'm saying, that don't need to be there. If you went all out, you would have that shit, bro. I promise you. Like, I promise you, if you went all out, if you did all that can be done each day, I promise you, you would have that shit. You out here pussyfooting. You trying to go after your goal, but you still trying to go out to the club, still trying to chase hoes, right? You still trying to get high. You still playing video games. You still staying up late jagging off or whatever the fuck you motherfuckers do in your spare time, you know? Like, you still have spare time, right? You shouldn't have spare time. You're like doing all that can be done each day means all that can be done, like literal capacity. You should go to sleep exhausted each day. If you do that, you can't fail, right? But none of y'all gonna do that shit, you know what I'm saying? And she left that out of the secret because you can't sell that. You can't sell that. Let me find something for you, man. I saw this clip the other day of the homie Muhammad Ali, man. Check this shit out. Check what he said.
What's the central part of your training? Is it running? Is it sparring? Or
central part is dodging the nightclubs and the parties of girls. You know the truth? And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. And if you can get by that, you'll make it. Well, that's the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I'm talking about running and hitting the bags and jogging and biting when you won't. Dodging ladies is the main thing. Especially when you're pretty like me.
That was a big fact, right? You know, like what he was saying, but you can, he said ladies was the main thing, but it might not just be ladies with y'all, right? It might also be motherfucking video games. It might also be smoking weed. It might be all this other shit, alcohol, you know, vices and shit of that nature. That's the hard part. Doing all you can do each day, right? When I was coming up, man, I promise you, when I was struggling and I needed to get my family out of the situation we were in after my father committed suicide. It's like, yo, man, I wasn't having fun. I wasn't out here doing shit. I was out here doing recreational shit, you know? I wasn't going to fucking parties. I wasn't going to barbecues, birthday parties. I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't watching sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't going to the movies. I wasn't going to basketball. I wasn't doing nothing except for going after my goal each day. I was doing all that could be done each day. But that's because it was a must. I had to do it, right? You know, we were in the middle of the worst economic recession since the Depression, record unemployment. Father just shot himself in the head. You know what I'm saying? I got to support the family, take care of my mom, my sister, my grandma. You know, it's like, it was all on my shoulders. It was going to be up to me. What ended up being the biggest tragedy ended up being my biggest blessing because it forced me to go all out. The thing is, for y'all, it's like the shit ain't really, you don't want this shit bad enough. Like I had to succeed for the sake of myself and my family, right? I had to. It was like a must. It wasn't something I wanted. It was something I had to have, right? And that's the thing. You don't get what you want. You only get what you have to have. You don't get what you want. You get what you have to have. You will not rise to your ambitions. You're going to fall to your standards, right? You won't rise to your ambitions. You're going to fall to your standards. So you got to raise the standards. Say, no, this has to happen no matter fucking what. And if you believe that, if what you say is true, then you got to go at capacity, and you can't do it sometimes. You got to do it every day. If you believe it, if you want to ensure success, then that's what you're going to have to do. But almost none of y'all have ever did that with anything. And that's okay, right? I'm not trying to like clown you with shit. Like I'm sure you got redeeming qualities outside of your work ethic. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you should just make peace with the life you have. Maybe you should just learn to be happy, you know, doing the shit you do now, man. You know what I'm saying? Making, you know, enough money where you can like live. Like, I mean, when I say live, I mean like stay alive and you know, and eat food, shelter yourself from the elements. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you might have to make peace with that, and that's enough for you, right? But if you want more, if you like really want to excel, or if you need to excel, if you were in this kind of situation where I was in, where you had to do something that extraordinary to dig your family out the hole, then you got to go all out, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go all out, and you can't do it sometimes. It's every day. Like, I ain't take no days off during that time, man. I was working 12, 14 hours a day, every day for like 2 years in a row. I maintained that work ethic throughout my career, you know what I'm saying, until I got to millions. And then even still now, right? Like, I'm a multi-millionaire and shit right now, as we speak. And I'm still, you know what I'm saying, set my alarm for 4:30 and shit. I'm working harder than y'all now. Like, you motherfuckers, I'm rich, like super rich, like very wealthy, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm working harder than y'all. If that doesn't like make you feel like a certain way, then you really got to make peace with where you at in life, you know what I'm saying? And just adjust your expectations. But like, the strongest among you would be like, fuck, you know, I need to go harder, you know what I'm saying? I think that's step one. Like, fuck the law of attraction. I mean, don't think about it, right? Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. But the truth is, yo, you got to go all out, man. I ain't never seen nobody get massively successful just thinking about it. I never seen that shit. I never heard of that shit. Nigga, that shit don't even happen in Hollywood, right? They don't even make movies about it. There was one movie made about that, and that was called The Secret, and that's it. Like, that's it. That shit does not happen outside of motherfucking science fiction movies, you know what I'm saying? Outside of like the fucking X-Men or the Avengers or some shit, you know? That shit ain't reality. You know what I'm saying? You ain't a supernatural X-Men, nigga. You a regular boy. And this time, and if you really want this shit, you gotta go all out. Now, having that said, there is something to controlling your focus and what you think about. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activation system, right? And it decides what you'll focus on and what you'll see, right? And what you'll see. So for example, we've all had this experience. You may get a new car, or maybe one of the homies get a new car, or somebody in your family get a new car. Then you start seeing that car everywhere, right? Again, you are not a motherfucking X-Men. You did not start attracting that shit. The car was there the whole time. The car was there the whole time. You just didn't see it before, right? Once it was brought to your attention, then it was activated in your reticular activation system, right? And now it starts to see it everywhere, right? That happens all the time. And we can do this right now. Like, how does the chair feel against the back of your back, or how does the chair feel against your thighs? Pause, right? Is it hard? Pause. Is it soft? Pause. Is it is it cold? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, really, like, put your attention there, right? What does the chair feel like? Or if you're standing, what does the bottom of your sole of your feet feel like, right? You know, what does the sole of your shoes feel like? You probably weren't paying attention to that shit this whole time until I brought it to your attention, right? But now you feel it. Now you can see it. Now you can make an assessment, right? Because there's so many different stimuli going on in the world, in our environment, different sounds, sensory stimuli, sounds, things to see, things to feel, hear, smells, right? We can't pay attention to all of it. So your reticular activation system will decide what it's going to show you. And because of this, you don't believe what you see what you believe, right? You don't believe what you see what you believe. So somebody may get that car, you say, man, everybody getting this car. No, motherfucker, that car has been there the whole time. You just didn't notice it before. It's not your fault, right? You can't notice everything. When you start focusing on the positive things, right? Then you'll start seeing different avenues for you to make things happen, right? But if you're like negative all the time, then everything you see is going to be through a negative lens, right? And it's like a tint. So something good will happen, or there might be opportunity in front of you, and you won't even fucking notice it. You've trained your reticular activation system to pick up on the negativity. That's why I don't be watching fucking cable news and shit, you know, because their job is not to tell you the truth, right? Their job is to sell commercials, right? The job of the television is to sell commercial space to advertisers. That's why it's free, right? Anytime something's free, you're the product. In order to get the most money per commercial, they got to get the most views. And to get the most views, they got to sensationalize shit, work on different cognitive biases, show you that like shit is falling apart, because they know people are going to be gravitating towards that. You know, it's in our DNA to look for danger, right? Because that's how we survived, you know, when we were living out in the wilderness amongst the beasts and shit, right? You know, our ancestors had to like be on the lookout for other tribes and other predators and shit of that nature. So like we have a heightened sense for danger. Back in the days, the people who did that, they were able to survive. The people who didn't, they died off. So we're literally descendants of people who like were good at looking out for danger, right? So media will fucking weaponize this attribute against us. This part of our DNA is against us, just trying to make you think that the world is fucking falling apart. They're trying to make you think that everything's going bad. This is the left and the right. They're trying to make you think that everything is awful, and because they know you're going to tune in for that shit, and then they'll be able to sell commercials. A ton of good shit happened today, I promise you, right? But you'll never hear about it. You're saying they're going to talk about the fucking the bad things that happen, right? But the truth is, statistically, there's never been less war on planet Earth than it is right now. Life expectancy has never been higher than it is right now. There's never been a better time to be a human being, right? But they try to tell you this shit is fucking awful and the world is falling apart. But it because they want to sell advertising. So if you digest that fucking negativity, you'll train your reticular activation system to see negativity in your life. You won't see the fucking good shit in your life, right? And then that's going to change your focus. And whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. Like, think about somebody right now in your family who's close to you who died, passed away, right? You start feeling sad if you focus on that for long enough, you know what I'm saying? How you missed them and shit. You can start thinking about the fucking last time you got head, you know what I'm saying? And busted in somebody's mouth, right? You can start thinking about that shit and you'll get happy, right? It's just like whatever you focus on you'll feel even if it's not happening right now, even if it's not real. Like, you know, it was about 2 years ago. My cousin, Chicago G, he like didn't come home one night, right? And his girl, she was like texting him, oh man, where you at, motherfucker, all this shit, right? And she was getting super mad. She felt like anger at him, right? Because she was focusing on like, oh, he must be doing something foul if he would do this, right? The truth is, man, like he got in a car crash and died, right? But she was feeling anger and it wasn't even real. You know what I'm saying? Just because you feel something that means real, it all depends on what you focus on. If you're able to control your focus and focus on where you want to go, right? And focus on accomplishing the goal and focus on being down the path and being a motherfucking G. If that's where all your focus is, then you will feel that, right? And that feeling is going to be advantageous for you as it pertains to the attainment of your goal. It's super critical, but it doesn't make you a magical X-Man, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you, like the shit ain't just gonna appear in your life. I had Johnny Ty make that Photoshop of me holding those awards, right? No matter what was happening. There was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of struggles. You know, there was times where I had to pay my whole staff and I couldn't pay myself for like multiple months in a row because, you know, we was like still trying to figure some shit out, or because I made an investment in the future, right? And I had to pay everyone else, but I ain't pay me. And I was like, all right, I got to figure this shit out. You know, I got to figure this shit out. And you start struggling, or like you have like customers acting crazy, or like employees acting crazy. You know, humans are going to behave different, you know what I'm saying? And you got to contend with all this shit that's coming at you instead of getting wrapped up in the negative. Like I address the negative things, right? But I stay focused on the fucking goal, man. Accomplishing those goals, hitting that goal. And I really think that served me well on the road to accomplishing it. You know what I'm saying? Because if I would have got caught up in the negativity or caught up in how far I am from that goal, because I was super far when we set those, when I had Johnny make that Photoshop for me. If I focused on the distance, then I might have got discouraged. Or if I focused on all the obstacles that were in front of me, I might have got discouraged. But because I started focusing 100% on the goal, and I just kept my focus there, man, yo, we got to get this shit. We gonna get this shit, man. Fuck this shit. We gonna get this. But I also worked hard. All that can be that each day. Like those two things combined, I think it put me in a position where it made success like a lot more likely. So I trained my RAS to focus on the thing that I wanted as opposed to the problem. Every subject is two subjects. Let's say you want $1 million, right? You can focus on accomplishing $1 million, or you can focus on how you don't have $1 million. And you know, they mean the same thing, but like, what's your focus? You focus on, man, I'm trying to get $1 million. Like, fuck, I ain't got $1 million, right? They're gonna feel different because whatever you focus on, you're gonna feel, whether it's real or not. That feeling is going to impact your behavior, right? Because if you're on the negative side, it's like, damn, man, I ain't got $1 million. You might not even try, or if you do try, you might not try as hard. You may still put in the action, but it won't be as effective. But if you like, man, I'm getting this shit. Let's go, right? You're gonna be more enthusiastic. You'll be able to attack your goal with a lot more vigor, right? It doesn't make you magic. It just means that you're putting yourself in a position that makes it more likely for you to succeed. Just by changing your focus. Every subject is two subjects, right? I won't say shit like, man, I'm so thirsty. I'll be like, nah, I need to get some water, right? They mean the same thing, but like, I don't know. One you sound like a bitch, the other sound you like, I'm gonna get that shit. I'll never say, man, I ain't got enough money. I'll say, nah, I need to get more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted a Richard Mille for man long. I didn't say, man, I ain't got enough money for that. That's whole shit, right? It's true, but it's whole shit. Or I say, I gotta get more money. That's true too, right? But it's like, who would you bet on? The one who says, I ain't got enough money, or the guy who says, nah, I need to get more money? You can say, who would you bet on? Like if you was a gambling man, you bet on me. The motherfucker like me. For real, man, I don't even let people talk to me about that. Like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I'm like, no. You need to say, I got to figure out what to do. You know, it's the same thing, but it's like it has different energy and the focus is different. It's like you can focus on lack or you can focus on advancement, right? At all times, every subject is two subjects. It's having what you want or the lack of having what you want. And there's two sides of the same coin, man, but how you phrase it, how you talk to yourself, and how you think about it is gonna affect how you feel about it. And how you feel about it is gonna affect the action you take. Because make no mistake, the action you take is impacted by how you feel. I know it's real cool to say in self-help circles, everybody wants to be a motherfucking badass, and they say, I don't care how I feel, I'm gonna go after anyway. Yeah, I get it, bro. Calm your goofy ass down. If you feel better, your action will be more effective. The classic example, if you ever had a blowjob from somebody and they was like, yeah, and they did it. They did it regardless of how they felt. But you know, how effective was it, right? Did you love it? All right. Now there's no such thing as a bad blowjob, right? But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't have real bad pizza, but it's like, you know, pizza's always good, but there's levels, right? So, but then you take the chick who's like, man, she been dreaming about giving you a blowjob, man. And she attacked that shit She attacked that shit with enthusiasm, man. Like she hop on that shit like a loose ball at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? She excited to gobble in that shit, man. She been scrambling for it, man. She been like checking off the days on her calendar, man. Can't wait to get you in her mouth, right? Which one of those blowjobs you want, right? It's the same action, like it's the same action, but one's gonna be like more effective action than the other, right? And it's the same thing with like any action you take as it pertains to accomplishing your goals, right? If you attack it with enthusiasm, that action is gonna be more effective, right? Like if you have to go to a gym, you gotta go get a workout in, right? But if you all sad about some shit, like your fucking girl dumped you or your dog died or some shit, like yeah, you'll still go to the gym, and that's to be commendable if you still work out under those circumstances. Like how good is the workout gonna be, right? So like, let's say you just fucking took some pre-workout, you've been watching Brandon Carter videos, you super hype, man, you might lift all the weights. You probably hit some PRs, be the best workout of your life, right? It's the same action, but it's more effective depending on how you feel, right? That's how the law of attraction will work in your benefit, right? Decide what you focus on, really curate what you focus on, and focus on the things you want as opposed to the lack of it, right? And then train your RS system to start seeing different opportunities opposed to seeing the obstacles, right? The obstacles may still be there. There's opportunities there too. You gotta train your brain to see them and look for them. You feel me? And then once you train yourself, right, you're gonna feel better about accomplishing your goal. Like no matter what happens, just keep the goal front and center, man. I think it is helpful to imagine it, to visualize yourself doing it, right? Not because you're gonna turn into fucking magic, right? But you're not Dr. Strange, right? I'm not trying to say that. If you do visualize yourself accomplishing a goal, if you visualize how it's gonna be, right, you're gonna put you in a different state, in a different mind state. It's gonna change your emotions. Then when you attack your goals in that state, it's gonna be way more effective than if you attacked it in a defeated state. So to wrap this in conclusion, law of attraction is not bullshit, but it's also been oversold, right? You gotta work really hard, do all that can be done each day. You gotta focus on what you want as opposed to what you don't want. You gotta visualize it, get enthusiastic about it on a consistent basis. So when you do take the action that's required, when you're doing all that can be done each day, you're doing it with a enthusiastic, optimistic point of view, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna make the action more effective. And if you all sad and depressed,